When I first started teaching, I'm very sensitive to energy, and I didn't realize how sensitive. And so now I take the time to create space for myself, make sure that I'm very resourced, make sure that I'm very well rested. And then when I'm finished teaching, I go back and I'm resourced again. And I make sure that I take that time for myself so that I can be of best service to those I teach.
Welcome to the Awaken Magazine podcast, where we feature inspiring leaders who are helping our world awaken to love. I'm your host, David Trotter, and today I want to share with you a wonderful conversation with Courtney Watson. This was recorded live at the Yoga Expo in Los Angeles. Courtney works with Rancho La Puerta, which is a wellness resort and spa just an hour south of San Diego, and she helps introduce retreat leaders to this amazing space. Now, in our conversation, we talk all about her shift from her Catholic upbringing to learning all about spirituality and yoga and Buddhist studies. We talk about how she grew up in the hospitality industry, actually working at her dad's hotels. And we talk all about Rancho La Puerta and how it's been in existence for 85 years and all the amenities that it has to offer retreat leaders. Now, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the Awaken Magazine podcast on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Spotify, and YouTube. Click subscribe. Rate and review the show. That's an easy way for you to help us spread the word about all these amazing interviews that we release each and every week here on Awaken Magazine. All right, let's dive into this conversation with Courtney Watson. Courtney, it is great to have you with us today.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
Yeah. Courtney, I want to hear about your upbringing. How did your own awakening to mindfulness, consciousness, spirituality happen? Did you grow up with some sort of faith or spirituality, or was that new for you later in life?
I grew up Catholic and definitely had a strong Catholic background. I went to Catholic school and in my late teens was even going and doing silent retreats with my mother. So I can actually thank her for my spiritual practice. But Catholicism didn't necessarily resonate with me. And I went on a journey that started with yoga, honestly. And through yoga, I found meditation, mindfulness. I went and got certified in Ashtanga Vinyasa in India. I went there and spent a lot of time there, and also found mindfulness in really initially starting because of my corporate roles and what I've done, starting to really manage anxiety and what was going on with my life personally. And that mindfulness practice stemmed from yoga, but then also started my path towards really, I guess, my Buddhist path now, which is what I've been studying for the past 15 years. And I really wanted that part of me, that spiritual part of who I am and my practices and what I teach, to merge with what my corporate world was and is now, which is hospitality. So I went from traditional luxury hotel model to beautiful hotel experiences that were much more focused and dedicated to wellness, well-being, and self-care. So I'm here actually with Rancho La Puerta, which they are 85 years old this year. It is a beautiful healing space. The land itself is in this valley right beneath a mountain in Tecate, Mexico, that has been known for healing before Rancho La Puerta even got there. And I'm so proud to be able to work with them and now extend my experience within hospitality and blending it with the wellness world and providing incredible retreat experiences and opportunities for people to go and be and take up to 40 classes and go hiking to organic gardens and eat pescatarian food that's all sourced from the land that's there. So it's really beautiful to kind of watch how my spiritual path, my professional path now have kind of merged into the same world.
What was your professional path? Help us get a little picture of that. And how did you make that transition? Because I know a lot of people who are listeners, they are in corporate or they've got kind of a day job in something that perhaps they like or don't like, but they're looking to make that transition to integrate things that are more conscious or more in alignment with their values. What was your background and how did you make that transition?
So I actually grew up in the hotel industry. My dad had small little business hotels throughout the Midwest. So I worked with him. And when I decided I wanted to leave, I ended up in Kauai, in Hawaii, the island of Kauai, and took the experience that I knew from him and what I had learned there and started at the front desk and worked my way into sales and marketing. And slowly, over the years, it's been over 20 years that I've been in hospitality now in that realm. It actually started in Texas, believe it or not, of places that I would be very unexpected for me. There was a hotel there that opened this amazing wellness center. And I worked with a woman named Sally Frankel who did training for travel advisors on wellness travel. And I sat through the whole training, learned so much from her, and started to really build out programming and work a lot more closely with the spa director there. And from there, was a lot more intentional with kind of what I was picking as far as my career path was concerned. So I've been worked for Paul Maya, House of Aya, which is an amazing property in the Riviera Maya in Mexico, which is also very wellness focused. Soul Community Planet, which is also, again, like very holistically focused. And then because of these relationships and my experience, I was fortunate enough to have the ranch reach out to me. So it was really an intention on what I wanted to give back and how I could use my experience, because to me, the experience itself, like I love building business. I love doing that part, but I wanted it to become a space where it was value aligned as well. And so it was a lot of intention of who I wanted to work with, who I wanted to be with, and how I could create that.
And what is your role there? How are you helping them?
So I am working with retreat leaders and travel advisors that are focused on wellness, and working on partnerships like this with Yoga Expo, meeting with people like yourself to really gain exposure and business to a new audience. I was telling your wife, they've been around for 85 years. So when I went to the ranch, I met people that had been there for 30 years or for 30 times,
Wow.
20 times, had been coming since they were young, multi-generation families. And with that, their client base is amazing, but they wanted to start bringing in new clients, new people to experience the hotel. So that's really what my role is business development and gaining partnerships that are going to help build awareness for them.
Mm-hmm. Can I go there as an individual, or is it designed more for me to bring a group of people as a retreat leader?
It's actually set up for both. So as an individual, it's actually one of the best places for solo travelers because it has this, I call it sleepaway camp for adults. So when you come in, all of the meals are communal. There's over 40 classes every single day. You're getting to do a lot of different experiences, and you just naturally meet like-hearted people and make lifelong friendships.
Wait, did you just say like-hearted?
Like-hearted,
Why have I never heard that before?
I don't know. I like it, though. It's
Wow.
decided. Like-hearted is, I like that. The feeling that I get when I say like-hearted.
I'm going to start saying that. I'll give you credit. All right.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Okay. So you're meeting people that are like-hearted and connecting over 40 classes a day. So then if I'm a retreat leader and I want to bring a group of retreat, how do they work with my group?
So I would work with special rates. The groups start at 8 people. Actually, this fall, they're starting at 6 people. So you only need to get 6 people together to actually book a retreat there. They've obviously been doing it for 85 years, so they know a lot about retreats. And we have a structure set up that's very easy for retreat leaders to book. So you'd work with me, and I do some added values, some added experiences. The practice space is all included for whatever their programming is. And what's nice about it is you're not having to think a lot about, okay, like my class is an hour in the morning and an hour at night. What am I going to do with everybody from those time periods? There's already programming completely set up. You can do it together as a group. People can go out and do experiences on their own. So you really have kind of this foundation that supports the retreat experience. And then we get a lot of just small groups. So girlfriends that want to get away together and do different things. We have groups set up for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And with only 8 people, typically 6, like I said, over this fall, it makes it really easy to come in and get great group rates and experience it together. And the casitas are set up all the way from 1 to 4 people. So you can stay in a room with 3 other people and share a very large space and have that if you want that experience, or you can have your own room. So it kind of depends.
What is the entire, I don't know the right language, but the accommodations for the whole hotel? How large is it? How many rooms?
Oh, it's only a little over 80 guest rooms. So it's 86 guest rooms.
Okay.
86 casitas. So they're all these standalone buildings that kind of, they're a number of different villages within the ranch itself that are set up there.
Beautiful. Amazing. What do you personally enjoy about the ranch?
The sense of community there, honestly. I've been to a lot of amazing wellness resorts, and I think because they've been doing this for so long, and because Deborah, the founder, who's 102, as I mentioned, her daughter is now helping with operations and such. The team itself have been there 10, 15. The last time I went, I had a facial. The woman had been there for 28 years. So the culture of the team itself has been so long. There's so much longevity with that they really create this feeling of family and community. And then you blend that in with all of these people that are coming and have been there time and time again and give you suggestions on where you should go or how to get different places. The sense of community there is like nothing else I've experienced. I really, really love that.
Beautiful. Beyond working with the ranch, what else do you do in life?
I teach mindfulness with my kind of part of Meliora called A Place to Breathe. So I teach mindfulness, yin yoga, and breath work. And I've kind of blended them all together into a practice I call the mindful way that really makes a lot of sense. So it's, for me, my studies were in Ashtanga Vinyasa, Baptiste methodology, which I love to practice, but I didn't love teaching because there was so much structure around it and it's very fast-paced, high-energy movement. So finding yin and now being able to teach that in partnership with mindfulness and breath work, I'm able to hold space for people to build awareness and ground into the present moment. So I teach quite a bit of that. I certified
Is this online or in person somewhere?
I'm sorry?
Is this online or in person?
It's in person in Crested Butte, Colorado. So at the yoga studio there, I teach there. And then online, I teach my mindfulness courses, which are 4 and 8 weeks. So I teach those ongoing as well. And then I have a weekly free sitting that I do that can have as small as 2 and as many as 20. It's whomever shows up. And we just sit together for 30 minutes every Wednesday. So, yeah.
Amazing. Do you help retreat leaders find other hotels and spaces beyond the ranch, or is the ranch really your focus right now?
The ranch is definitely one of my top focuses. However, I also work with Soul Community Planet, which is a collection of 10 hotels across the west coast of California, Hawaii and Costa Rica. So I work with them with retreat leaders and travel advisors as well. And and I also work with retreat leaders like the Murmuration Collective. And the Murmuration Collective is this amazing woman, Lucy Reynolds, who has curated immersive experiences that are in Spain, Montana, and Africa. And she does those throughout the year. So it's usually twice a year for Spain and Montana, once a year for Kenya. And her whole focus is empowering women and helping them through phases of transition, which I think no matter what your age is, there's always times that you're going through transition. So her curriculum is unbelievable. And I'm helping her as well, supporting her mission and what she's doing and getting the word out about what she's doing as well.
Sounds like I could use that program. That sounds good.
Yeah, it's
I like
amazing.
So those who are listening who are wanting to be a retreat leader, retreats are really popular right now, obviously. And so a lot of people go, man, I want to lead my own retreat. I want to do this. What advice would you give them?
I think my advice would be is most likely they're already teaching. So I would say getting the voice of who your students are, understanding what they want, understanding what they are looking for, and working with partners that understand the business, like the ranch does, for instance, like SCP does, that they understand the business so that you feel supported with the partner that you're working with, that you feel supported with, that they're value aligned, that they're working, and start small. To me, it's best to go in saying that you're going to have 8 people that are joining you and be pleasantly surprised if you get 20 versus going in and saying you're getting 20 and then really stressing yourself out about how to fill this. And I think finding the partners, again, is a really good point, because if you can find the correct partner to be that host for the retreat, they're going to help support and market and be that person that's kind of handling a lot of the stuff. A lot of people do retreats in homes, which I think can be really great depending on kind of what your community is. But if you do it in a home, make sure that you have the supports there of who's cooking the food, who's helping if somebody loses a phone charger and needs something, who's helping if something goes awry that you need support with, making sure that you have the appropriate supports. Because to me, the focus of the retreat leader should really be on whatever their practice is and whatever healing they're wanting to bring to the space. And you don't want to have that compromised by any way with not having someone bringing the food or having to wake up at 3 a.m. to cook breakfast for everybody and not be rested and resourced to be able to share the practice that you have and what you can offer.
I echo that, Courtney. Mandy and I have done retreats. We have done them in hotels and, in the homes. And the food, I think the food is the number one issue, because it is not easy to cook for 8, 10, 20 people. That just takes a village.
It does. And then you're going to some large grocer and trying to figure out the right amount and all of that. And if you have never done that before, I've never done that before, so I wouldn't even necessarily know how much to get. And so having somebody that's there, and knowing, I think what's so nice about the ranch is that all the meals are included. They reserve the space for you. You know when the meals are going to be. It can be completely coordinated where everybody's eating together. Or it could be you guys take care of breakfast and lunch, enjoy yourselves, and we'll meet for dinner every evening.
Yeah.
And you're just enjoying then. So that it can be a little bit of a respite for you as well. And I think also for me, when I first started teaching, I'm very sensitive to energy, and I didn't realize how sensitive. And so now I take the time to create space for myself, make sure that I'm very resourced, make sure that I'm very well rested. And then when I'm finished teaching, I go back and I'm resourced again. And I make sure that I take that time for myself so that I can be of best service to those I teach.
That's beautiful. Tell us where people can follow you personally and get involved with your work in terms of the Mindful Way and even in Colorado. And then tell us how they can learn more about the ranch.
Perfect. So you can learn more about the ranch or really contact me via email at cwatson@Meliora Well, and that's Meliora well.com. And the website is meliorawell.com as well. And then my personal practice, you can find me on Instagram at place2breathe. So my company is A Place to Breathe. So it's place2breathe. That's my handle on Instagram.
We got to get creative sometimes, right? With those handles of what's left over. People say, why'd you call it Awakened Magazine? Or awakenedmagazine.com. I said, well, for years I did a bunch of films, and the company that I put that under was Awakened Media. And so I was like, man, I really like Awakened Magazine. I go, the reason why we named it that is because that URL was available. So.
And it's funny with A Place to Breathe, that name, when I quit my job and moved to India to study yoga, I wanted to start a blog. And so that's where it came from, was that. And then it's just so funny. I was thinking about this actually yesterday, how all of a sudden it's kind of merged into. So I initially just started it just for that reason, to communicate and tell people about my travels.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Courtney, it's great to meet you.
Yeah, so good to meet you. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate your time and all of your curiosity. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Awaken Magazine podcast. If you enjoyed this episode and our other conversations, would you mind taking a moment to leave a 5-star review and maybe even a comment on Spotify or Apple Podcasts? That's one of the ways that you can give back to the show and help us reach more people. And of course, feel free to share the episode with a friend. And if you're not already on our email list, we send out an inspiring email every Monday morning full of articles and interviews. Just head on over to awakenedmagazine.com and click subscribe and join for free. Our hope is that all the resources we share will help our world continue awakening to love.